think about the Pacquiao Thurman, if that's made? What are your thoughts on that?
Why not?
The outcome.
Why not? Why not? Man, bring it. You know what I mean? I think it'll definitely rise Thurman's game, and also Pacquiao's game. Is he ready now? Yeah, why not? Right now, 40-year-old Pacquiao, man. Like I told you, Thurman. I'm Thurman, man. You know, Thurman has punching power that will keep Pacquiao honest. Will keep him honest. Thurman is smart. He got good speed. He's bigger than Pacquiao. He'll be able to bully him in the inside. You know what I mean? He'll be able to take a punch pretty well and recover. He's smart enough to move and know when to move and when not to. You know, there's a lot to Thurman, man. You know, I think he's one of the best best middleweight, welterweights out there, man. It doesn't matter whether he win the fight or lose the fight. He gonna get backlash, period. Because if he wins the fight, then you know he beat a 40-year-old Pacquiao, not a prime Pacquiao. If he loses the fight, then it's like, oh, you can't even beat a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao. So he's doomed either way. But it's a great opportunity for him. I'm happy that he got the fight, and you know, everybody's looking at that last fight of Thurman, first fight back, and everybody's like, oh, Pacquiao. Man, listen. When you fighting against a guy, a legend like Manny Pacquiao, you gonna get up for it. You know, please believe it. Thurman's a smart guy. You know, he's very intellectual. He's very aware. He knows what he has to do and what he needs to be to beat a guy like Manny Pacquiao. So, you know, I'm banking on Thurman to get the job done.
Now, I don't know if you heard his recent comments yet, real quick, but Thurman is already talking about even possibly retiring if you don't beat Pacquiao. What do you think a boxer's mindset is at that level when they're already thinking if one fight already determines their career?
Nah, you know, that's just motivation. I think that he's trying to, you know, pump himself up and just say like, hey, if I can't beat a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, then I don't belong in the ring. But please believe it, if he loses the fight, if it's a close fight, Thurman's not retiring, man. Not at all. He's still a lot left. He still has a lot left in the tank and can continue. So that's just a motivating tool and a motivating factor.
A former opponent, Manny Pacquiao, seems to still be going strong. He fought Adrian Broner last year. Looks like he's going to be fighting Keith Thurman. Talk to me about Manny Pacquiao and the career that he's had and the fact that he's still fighting quite strong.
Well, you know, he's unbelievable, really. You know, he obviously lives the life, looks after himself, so he's been able to keep going strong. He's been able to keep going strong and box at the same level. Maybe he's not the force he was a few years, but he's still good enough to get away with it and match with the people he's matching. So it's like anything, you know, as a boxing fan, even though he was a former opponent, you know, you take a lot of respect and a lot of credit to him for what he's done. But you know, like every champion and former champion we admire, we just hope he knows the right time when to get out, don't we? And but he's got good people around him, good family behind him, good team behind him, and I think they'll advise him which the right time is when that time comes. But at the minute, I think rock on, because he's looking far from out of his depth, and he's still looking well. Yeah.
You know, you've been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. What's your overall thoughts on that fight?
I love that fight. I think the timing is great. I think Thurman's inactivity and Pacquiao's kind of resurgence and style lately, I think this makes this fight make a lot of sense. Maybe a few years ago when Thurman was being really active and fighting top guys, I didn't like this fight as much, but now it makes sense.
Now, with you sharing the ring with Amir Khan in the past, and then you've also been in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, just a curiosity, if Terrence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao would happen based off Amir Khan's performance with Terrence Crawford, how would you size those two guys up and Manny Pacquiao?
I don't like to get into boxing math. You know, This guy fought this guy, and what happens? It doesn't really work that way. I would not want to see Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao fight. I think that a great champion and a legend like Pacquiao deserves better than that. You know, throwing him into young, hungry guys who are at the tip top of their game when he's not. He's not the same guy he was. Is he still a great fighter and a great champion? Yes. Is he the Manny Pacquiao of old? No. And I don't think it's fair to match him up with the pound-for-pound best at his height of his career. It's just not going to mean as much, and it might take away from Pacquiao.
Pacquiao Thurman is next month, July 20th, and straight up, nobody knows Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman as well as you do.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Right now, I'm sure if Keith sees this or hears about it, he's going to think I'm hating, but right now, this very moment, I still feel like this is going to be Manny Pacquiao's fight. I feel that Keith is he's coming from a lot. He's been through a lot in the last couple of years, and none of that has been in the ring. Quiet as it's kept, none of that has been in training. You know, everything he's been through has been out of boxing. And when you go so far away from boxing, you know, when you come back to it, things are just different, you know. And we saw that in his fight with Josecito Lopez. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, there's no knock against Josecito Lopez at all, but we did, a majority of the public thought that he was going to really be able to handle Josecito with no problem. And, you know, I'm the first one to say it, and I'm sure there's a lot of other fighters out there that will say, like, no fight's an easy fight. It just is a fact. I don't know if he just thought it was going to be an easy fight. I don't know if he, you know, just didn't prepare or whatever the case may be. But I think that even outside of him getting hit in a particular round, it was midway through the fight, I think it was. And he had that, you know, that really, really dangerous round. I mean, I was looking at it like, what is going on, you know? Even outside of that, there still were holes throughout his game. Even from his offensive approach and his offensive attack, and then also from the defensive end, I just saw a lot of holes. And you know, I'm right now in this very moment, I'm not sure if those things are going to be corrected, and I'm not sure if he'll be ready enough for Manny Pacquiao. That's how I feel right now. Manny, I believe Manny's just always going to be Manny. Manny's going to go in there and give it all he's got. Manny, even Manny does things in his country for his people, and he's a congressman and all that kind of stuff, he still manages to be who he is outside of the ring, but also in the ring. You know, so right now, I think that this is going to be Manny Pacquiao's fight.
Well, I was going to get to Keith, but now that you mentioned Pacquiao and that he'll always be Manny, is he really the same Manny you sparred in 2000? No. Right.
No, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely not. I think that Manny is. I mean, I don't really want to put a number on it because, you know, I just don't want to put a number on it. I think, you know, it's human. You know, you're human. You know, Monday you're 100%, Tuesday you're 90. You know, Wednesday you're 80%. You get your rest and recovery. Thursday you might be back to 85%. You know, so I'm really not sure what percent he is now compared to when I spar with him, but I do know that he still enjoys doing what he does. He still has fast hands, quick feet, and he still has the technician in his corner in Freddie Roach. And so I think that, you know, they'll be able to figure out what they need to do to get a win over Keith Thurman.
I know you can't put a percentage on it, but please, if you can, what's the difference in just certain technical things? Is it he threw more punches back then? His angles were crazier back then. Like what do you see is the difference between Manny at 40 and Manny at 30?
You know, I'm learning this about myself. When I was in high school, I bench pressed about 250 pounds, 260 pounds when I was in high school. I had a lot of natural gifts and abilities, but they were also developed through weightlifting programs that I had done playing football and things like that. And now I'm 18 years old hitting that kind of weight. You know, fast forward, I'm out of school and I'm just strictly boxing. And, you know, the further I get to boxing, the further away I get from strengthening programs and things like that. And then you look up now, I am getting up 225 pounds now. Only 225 pounds. But I'm working on it. And I'm working my way back 250 to 260 pounds. And that is, I'm about a couple months away from my next fight. So we look for everything to be in order by then. But I'm saying all that to say that we all have a lot of God-given abilities. And if we don't continue to work on those God-given abilities, they will start to decline. And if no one is there to help us realize that and help us to maintain and help it come back to the way it once was, then we may lose those things. I do believe that Keith has gotten weaker, not stronger, as a fighter. I think that his punching power has gotten weaker, not stronger. And I do think that a direct contributor to that is him getting older and not being something that he has not worked on. And the same thing goes for Manny Pacquiao. He's gotten older, so his speed is not the same. His power is not the same. Even his foot speed is not the same. The ring IQ is still there, which gets him by. it's gonna always get him by. You know, when you're intelligent, your intelligence is something that no one can take away from you. You know, so I think that that's on his side as well. You know, but we talk about what's declined, everything, because he's gotten older.
Right.
And if he's not directly focusing on certain things that he wants to be, that he once was great in, then those things are going to decline as well.
But it sounds like you think Manny stayed on top of those things so his gifts don't get away from him. He stayed on it more stringently than Thurman has. Is that what?
I would say, from what I'm looking at, I think that his power has declined. Manny Pacquiao. I think his power has declined. I think also his speed has declined. I think that the thing I really think has declined is his that vicious mentality that he used to have. It was almost like a seek and destroy whenever he was in the ring. It's, you know, but that seems to have gone away as well. You know, so I mean, when you're not hitting guys or not falling down the way they used to, or you're not even able to get the guys the way you used to, things like that, then you may even that approach to the game changes for you as well. You know, so I think that Manny is still very quick, very fast, very he's still powerful, but everything has really declined over the years. But if I'm comparing it to Keith Thurman, Keith being the younger fighter, he's more than likely is more powerful
At this stage?
Yeah, Keith was always a heavy hitter, but you know, if you look at his career when he first turned pro to now, I don't know. I can't really call the number of fights since his last knockout, but it's just not there, you know. And that's a lesson for him. Like, yo, you got a little bit of time left. Get on it, you know, because whether you realize or not, these things are declining, and it's just a part of life.
So just comparing the speed and power, the stuff you're blessed with, did Manny have more of that than Keith, at least when you sparred him? Was he faster and hit harder?
Man, I'll tell you what. I mean, we were just reminiscing on my fight with Keith. And I mean, that was a hell of a fight. I would say, if anything, it was the same. I think both guys were the same. When I fought Keith was on top of his stuff. He was fast. He was sharp. Made the right moves. You know, all the good stuff that you love to see from Keith. And then on the other hand, Manny, I remember there being points, you know, in camp where, you know, I was here and I'm like, this is Manny, but then Manny was here, and it was like, whoa. And then, like, now we're both like raising our levels, and our sparring sessions were extremely competitive, you know. And I think both
were they like fights?
They didn't get quite that to that level, but they were rearing that level for sure. Yeah.
Well, because I hear you, like, he really didn't look like the same one time that fought you when he fought Josecito.
Yeah.
But then I think of Tyson Fury and how he didn't look good, but then all of a sudden he shows up for Wilder, the big opportunity, and he's 100% again.
Now, when I first heard the fight was signed and everything, I was like, okay, I'm going with Keith.
Right.
Keith is going to get up for this one.
Right.
But then, you know, again, I'm not only speaking on from what my eyes see, I'm also speaking on experience. After my fight with Ugas, I took a week off, and then I was back in the gym the very next week. No fight date, no reason to be in the gym or anything like that at all. But number one, I'm in shape, so I want to hold on to that. But also, I knew that the further I got away from being in the gym, the closer I got to my family and the couch and you know, football, basketball, whatever's on TV, and going out to eat and things like that, the further I wanted to be away from boxing. And that's just a part of life, you know. So I knew the only way I could stay locked and loaded and be ready for whatever was next was to get right back in the gym and keep my mind on boxing, even though I'm not training at the level that I train at when I'm in the training camp. And I just think that Keith has gone so far away from boxing that sometimes it's really hard to get back and really give it everything you got. And I mean, he knows what he did to get ready for Josecito Lopez, and he knows what he didn't do, you know. And I know that he's got to do 10 times, 100 times more to get ready for Manny Pacquiao. And the question is he ready to do that? And like I said before, a lot of times it's really hard to come back to something once you get away from it and you get interest in other things, you know. And that's coming from somebody who's been healthy and was training and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I had a son and everything, and the house and all that, and wanted everything to be perfect and enjoy that you know, I took some time away from the ring, and you know, when it was time for me to come back, I really had to really get myself back going. You know, it got to a point where I moved out of the house, you know, and there were a few nights that I thought about sleeping at the gym. I didn't sleep at the gym, but I said I had to go that far to get right back to where I was before I fought Danny Garcia, you know. And so I just know that, you know, it has to be a concentrated effort and a conscientious effort in order for you to get back to, you know, you being the Keith Thurman that you once were.
Well, you know, we call it the eye of the tiger. You know, that's the old phrase, because it seemed like people, and it's not to talk on Keith's life, you know, God bless Keith, but it seemed like that's what he was struggling with when people were speculating, getting married, falling in love, finding love. People were speculating on that man, maybe that takes some of the fire out of you if you let it, or so, you know.
And I kept hearing that he wasn't gonna fight again. I'm like, you know, stop saying that. The kid's coming back,
right?
But even I got to a point, I'm like, when is he coming back? You know. But when he comes back, I mean, all eyes are glued to the TV because they want to see what Keith has got, you know. And to me, I'm someone that you know, when I see a circle, I don't just look at the middle of the circle. I look at the entire circle, you know. I look at, you know, a square. I look at every single end and every single corner, you know. So, you know, that's how I've come to the conclusion right now. And I'm going to keep saying that because at some point I'm going to either see something or hear something that may change my mind. But right now I still think that it's going to be Manny's fight.
Based on the signs you've seen so far in the last year or two.
Yeah.
So, but Sean, what if, again, hypothetical here, what if Keith does show up as the guy that fought Sean Porter and Danny Garcia? Does that guy beat the 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao?
That guy beats Manny.
Okay.
That guy.
And how?
That guy makes the fight with Manny very, very hard. And I still do. I think that. What's Keith's coach name?
Dan Birmingham.
Dan Birmingham. I had another
Coach Winky,
name.
right?
I had another name in my head. I was like, that's not his name. I had some goofy name.
We got Sean to say ass.
Like Burbank or something like that. Birmingham. Yeah, Dan.
Underrated trainer.
Dan is smart. And that's working in Keith's in Keith's favor, because Dan is really smart. Dan is gonna find ways to manipulate this fight and make it so that Keith, you know, let's say hypothetically, Manny's power's here, Keith's power's right here. Let's say hypothetically, Manny's speed is here, Keith's speed is here. Hypothetically, Manny's quickness, Keith's quickness. Dan brings everything that right there.
He's that good a trainer?
I do. I think that Dan is that good a trainer. And even if he's not that good a trainer, he works specifically that well with Keith. They understand each other, they know each other, and you know, I'm banking on that. I think that the game plan is going to be definitely going to play a big role in this fight. And Keith, the cool part about Keith is when you establish a game plan, he ain't going away from it. You know, he ain't going away from it. It didn't matter how I hit him, how much I was coming after him. He still maintained his game plan and did what he had to do to win. You know.
Well, it was funny because every now and then he would plant, but then you'd come back with combinations, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to boxing.
Yeah, he's smart. He's smart.
Yeah,
the corner is smart. Yeah.
And just to wrap it up on Pacquiao and Thurman, I'm gonna do my best to Manuel Stewart here. Manuel always, one of the few things he nitpicked about Manny was his balance. That Manny, when he would throw combinations, he'd get off balance. Do you think Keith could take advantage of that with his movement and his power? And
right now, that's what I'm looking at. I'm kind of, it's kind of funny right now because I'm like, I don't want to give anything away or whatever.
Because you got your own thing on Fox. You got.
Well, I mean, yeah. But you know, I don't know. I mean, like, just in terms of, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who watches this. I don't even watch it. So, I don't know, but you know, I know. I will say this. I know that Keith's movement and his ability to get guys off balance, that's something that he does extremely well, and that's something that he learned turning pro and understanding that, you know, the amateur stuff is not going to work anymore. I got to figure out different ways to fight guys at different points in the fight, and he knows how to do that. That's working in his favor.